Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Saray from Saray Plans, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the month of October in my Erin Condren Petite budget planner, and I'll also be setting up my monthly budget for the month of November. So let's go ahead and get started. As far as bills go, everything has already gone out for the month of October with the exception of our HOA, and we did not really start our holiday shopping. We're going to do that this month. For the goals up at the top, I'm going to go ahead and rate myself to let you know how I did with sticking to these specific goals. I'm using the Erin Condren orange dual tip marker just to color in the stars based on how I think I did for the month. And for sticking to the budget, I'm actually going to give myself a 1 star, and I'll tell you why in just a second. For meal plan and prep, I'm actually going to give myself 2 stars. I feel I did pretty well in the last couple of weeks of October, and both of my husband and I really had to put in a little bit more of an effort in prepping our meals, so I thought that worked well. And remembering a go while, I think I did pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a 3-star here, just because that kept me motivated throughout the entire month. All right, let's flip over to the sinking funds section, and that went well. Saved everything that I had planned on doing, and I had to do a few debits of my sinking funds. Now, this is why I'm giving myself a 1 star, and it's because I was not very consistent with tracking all of the transactions. I did for the most part, but I sort of fell apart at the end of the month. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just give myself a boo-hoo on this page because it just did not work for me. So I'm just going to make a note of that and keep this in mind for the next month as we flip over to November. All right, so for this month, I'm going to be using my usual assortment of stickers from my shop, so the custom labels as well as the sinking funds and actual budget and rating stars for my month at a glance and the other pages. And then I'm not sure which ones of these Erin Condren stickers I'm going to be using, so I just grabbed all of the ones from the monthly edition books. I had already started the sinking fund section because I planned my budget for November with the last paycheck of October, which was the 25th. So that page is already done, but I'm going to go ahead and get started here with the month at a glance page and setting that one up. So there are 3 major goals for this month, and those include meal plan and prepping. As always, this is probably going to be a consistent goal of mine every month, but I'm specifically focusing on doing this at least 4 times per week. I'm also planning on making an extra debt payment of $356, and I'm also planning on doing Thanksgiving on a budget. Let me know if you guys are interested in a Thanksgiving budget or a Thanksgiving on a budget video where I walk you through my planning and expenses around that, because for me it has gotten out of hand in previous years that we have hosted because I just love the holidays so much, but there is a way that we can probably do it without spending a ton of money. So I'm setting up our upcoming purchases in this section, and these are things that I just want to remember that we might have to spend some money on or we have to plan accordingly. And then on the second half, I designate this space for keeping track of all of our online purchases that I've placed throughout the month. That way I know what needs to be purchased, or what I need to continue to track to make sure that I receive, etc. All right, so it's now time to list all of our monthly bills in this section. To help me keep organized for all of the bills throughout the year, I reference this monthly bills sticker sheet. This is from my Etsy shop, as well as a sinking fund sticker sheet that I have listed here as well, just to allow me to visualize the entire year. On this bottom section here, I keep track of two things: items to sell and items to donate. I haven't really been very consistent with this in the past couple of months, so I'm really hoping to get back on trying to get rid of a few things. And the next thing I'm going to do is just place these custom labels, which are also from my Etsy shop, on the different categories that are more relevant to us and our budget. Now that the labels are placed, I'm ready to go ahead and start listing all of the amounts for each of the individual budgeted categories for this month. I'm now going to go ahead and add some decorative elements using these sticker sheets from the Erin Condren monthly edition book, which I love the selection of all the different decorative stickers you can find in these books. So I'll definitely link all of the tools and sources that I've used in this video in the description section below. I'm now moving on to the sinking fund section of my budget for November. As you can see, I have already listed all of the sinking funds here because I used the last pay period in October, on October 25th, to start building my November budget. So all of those categories have been allocated and I've already transferred them. So I'm here now listing the sinking funds, which will belong for the November 8th budgeted pay period, where I'm going to go ahead and tally up all of the sinking funds for that pay period when it gets here. Okay, so for the last two pages of the spending summary section, these I use to recap my budget for the entire month. So I'm using a set of headers that these are also available in my Etsy shop, and I just change the heading to read different criteria than what the planner comes with. So for example, the first column is for keeping track of the difference between a budgeted amount versus the actual amount spent, and then the actual budget category. So that's how I use this section for. And I'm actually going to be listing all of the categories from my budget so that I can see where am I overspending or where am I underspending, and then the totals at the end. So I will tally them up, but I'm setting it up here for the entire month. So at the end of the month, all I have to do is just go ahead and plug in the numbers. What do I use to track my purchases, I guess, throughout the month? I used every dollar. So while I do have my budget on paper, I also like to have a way to electronically track all of the transactions. That way I can go ahead and just look at one tool at the end of the month and just figure out where I am budget wise. And that is the same tool that I use to set up the budget at the beginning of the month. So instead of like having to manually figure out how much to allocate to each category, what I do is I set up my budget in every dollar, figure out all of the different areas where we're going to be allocating funds to, and allow the tool to just do the math for me versus having to figure it out, using a calculator and a piece of paper. And then I just go ahead and transfer the information into my Petite budget planner. Hopefully that makes sense the way that I explained it. Let me know if you used an electronic budgeting tool. If you do, which one is your favorite? What do you like to use? I always like to explore different options, but I can definitely share that I love every dollar. I love the way that it works, and it's definitely helped to make sure that we stayed organized with our budget. So this is it. The month of November is all set up. So I'm excited to stick to it as much as possible and have a successful month. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I will see you next time.